Hey y'all, hey, welcome back to Bald Girl Will Travel, and in today's video, I'm going to answer a question I get asked quite a bit. What country in Europe have I found to be the most racist, and which one did I find to be the most welcoming? If you're new here, I'm Anne Marie, the creator of Bald Girl Will Travel, where I share my journeys as a 50-plus Black woman traveling the world in style, encouraging women over 40 and 50 to embrace travel as the ultimate form of self-care. I believe that style has no expiration date and that travel is the best self-care there is. If that's of interest to you, please hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and share this video with a friend. Since I've traveled all over Europe, Italy, Portugal, the UK, Ireland, Croatia, Serbia, Georgia, Ukraine, Moldova, France, Germany, Spain, Greece, and most recently, Poland, I feel like I'm in a good position to finally give an answer to this question that I get asked all the time. So let's get into it. Without question, the most openly racist country I've ever experienced has been Italy. Now, let me be very clear. Italy is absolutely beautiful, and I've been there several times, at least 7 or 8 times at this point, since 2017. Except for 2020, I've been there every year since 2017, and I keep going back. It's gorgeous, the food is amazing, and the men are charming and handsome. On almost every trip, I've observed racism, and on some occasions, I've personally experienced it. The places I found most problematic were Rome, Milan, and Venice. In Rome, the racism is not subtle, it's very in your face. I've been to Rome more than once, and at this point, I don't even need to spend time there anymore beyond transiting. It's a perfect place to fly into. You'll find a lot of deals to fly into there, so I will often fly there and then transit elsewhere into Italy. But it is not a place I like to spend a lot of time. I absolutely don't feel the need to spend time beyond transiting, and in Milan, I would say the same thing. In Milan, I was racially profiled the moment I got off the plane. I literally saw every Black and brown traveler being pulled aside for extra bag checks coming through customs and immigration. And I think the only reason that it didn't happen to me was that as soon as I started speaking to the officer and he heard my American accent, he waved me through. But everyone else, he was pulling to the side and they were opening people's bags up and checking them. That's profiling, in my opinion. And in Venice, I was flat out ignored inside of a Louis Vuitton store when I was looking for something specific that I wanted to purchase. So needless to say, I walked out of the store and they missed out on that sale. Racism can be expensive. Even in Florence, which is my favorite place to visit in Italy, I had one experience where a waiter ignored me, pretended he didn't see me, and didn't serve me. And at first I thought it was a mistake, but the look he gave me when I got up and left told me that he was doing it on purpose. But of course, I left because there's no way that I'm going to spend money in a place where the waitstaff is rude. But to be fair, Florence overall has been one of my favorite spots in Italy, and Sicily has been a completely different experience. I've been to Palermo, I've been to Taormina, I've been to Catania, and I've been to Ragusa. And in every single place I've been in Sicily, the people were warm, they were friendly, and they were genuinely helpful. Same thing I would say about Bari, Puglia area, where I've also visited in Italy. And just let me say, Italy has some of my favorite food in all of Europe. From the pasta to the seafood to the gelato, Italian cuisine is everything. But as much as I love the food, that doesn't erase the fact that racism in that country is real, especially in places like Rome and Milan and Venice, as I said. It's just very real and very visible. I have personally observed more than one occasion of people who are obviously African immigrants being treated in very disrespectful ways by Italians. So if you're a Black person and you visit Italy, especially for the first time, yes, you should see Rome. I think you should visit for the history and the art. But beyond that, I personally recommend heading south. Sicily in particular feels like a different country altogether because frankly, it's not part of the actual island of Italy. You have to fly from Italy to get to Sicily, and it's just a very different experience there. Now, let's talk about where I've been that I absolutely felt much more welcomed. Without question, the place that I have been in Europe so far that I have found to be the most welcoming has been Ireland, hands down. And I'm talking about Ireland, not Northern Ireland, the actual country of Ireland. From Dublin to Galway to Cork, I found the people to be genuinely kind, warm, funny, and just flat out welcoming. Even in Dublin, which is a busy capital, folks were friendly and helpful. The landscape is stunning, the energy is positive, and it's one of the only places in Europe where I've honestly thought I could live here and be happy. Now, here's the funny thing. While Italy has some of my favorite food, Ireland probably has some of my least favorite food. I will say I liked the shepherd's pie, and I had it quite a bit, and they make a good burger and some good French fries, but I wasn't crazy about much else. Thankfully, in Dublin, I was able to get great Indian food. There's great Chinese food to be had and Caribbean food. There's a lot of international cuisine. So even if you don't like Irish food per se, you'll find a lot of good food to eat in Ireland. This just goes to show you can't judge a country only by its food, because while Irish food wasn't my favorite, the people definitely were. The people made Ireland one of the best travel experiences I've ever had. Warm and kind and genuinely welcoming. It's exactly why I'm taking a group of Black women over the age of 40 there for 10 days next year. We're going to explore Dublin, Galway, and Cork. It's a bucket list trip, and it's the perfect time to book, because if you book now, you'll have almost a year to pay it off before we leave in September 2026. So there you have it. That's my answer. The most racist country I've been to in Europe so far? Italy, specifically Rome, Milan, and Venice. The most welcoming? Ireland, no question. That doesn't mean don't go to Italy. Like I said, I've been there many, many times, but just be aware of what you might experience, especially in the north of the country. And if you're Black, you may notice that sometimes, once they realize that you're American, they may treat you differently, probably treat you nicer. But that doesn't change the fact that they were racist in many, many parts of the country. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What country in Europe did you find to be the most welcoming? And where did you have the toughest experiences? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to compare notes. And if you want me to share some of my experiences in other parts of the world, like the Caribbean or the continent of Africa, where I've also had some very interesting encounters, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, leave a comment, and please do subscribe. We'd love to have you be a member of this community. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when there's another video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.